इस दिवाली में आपकी डबल दिवाली का काम मैं करने वाला हूं। इस दिवाली में आपको एक बहुत बड़ा तोहफा देशवासियों को मिलने वाला है। पिछले 8 साल से हमने जीएसटी का बहुत बड़ा रिफॉर्म किया। पूरे देश में टैक्स के बर्डन को कम किया, टैक्स की व्यवस्थाओं को सरल किया और 8 साल के बाद समय की मांग है कि हम एक बार उसको रिव्यू करें। हमने एक हाई पावर कमेटी को बिठा करके रिव्यू शुरू किया, राज्यों से भी विचार विमर्श किया।
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. That was Prime Minister Modi on the 15th of August telling the nation that GST reforms are coming this Diwali. 19 days later, a month ahead of Diwali, the gift was delivered. Now, ladies and gentlemen, logically, no one in their right mind will crib about taxes being reduced or a complicated tax structure being simplified. But the opposition that themselves have been asking for GST reforms is in a big sulk, majorly over Prime Minister Modi walking away with the credit of GST 2.0. The Congress party on its part is saying that all credit for the GST reforms must go to Rahul Gandhi, who for the last 8 years has been calling it the Gabbar Singh tax and repeatedly has been pressurizing the government to bring down these taxes. The party says the reforms are coming 8 years too late, but it's good, according to the Congress party, that the Prime Minister has taken Rahul Gandhi's advice. In fact, one party leader tweeted out this video I'm about to show you to muscle up their credit claim. Take a look.
जो बोलता हूँ वो होता है। गलत जीएसटी के समय बोला था जीएसटी को रिफॉर्म करने की जरूरत। एक जीएसटी 18%। मैंने कोविड के समय बोला था आर्थिक सुनामी आने वाली है। ऐसा इकोनॉमिक झटका पड़ने वाला है कि करोड़ों लोगों को नुकसान होगा। नोटबंदी के समय बोला था
नोटबंदी हिंदुस्तान के गरीब, किसान, मजदूर और छोटे दुकानदार पर असर होता है।
Ladies and gentlemen, but the Congress party isn't the only one in the opposition bloc that is claiming credit. Mamata Banerjee is doing it too. In a note on X, the TMC says, and I'm quoting from that note now, "This is a victory wrested from a tone-deaf regime that only listens when forced." From day one, Mamata Banerjee has warned the finance minister that taxing insurance premiums was cruel, anti-people, and would deter families from securing their future. The Narendra Modi government has finally buckled under our pressure. Now, ladies and gentlemen, of course, there is a response from the BJP that has said that while the opposition just talks, the Prime Minister walks the talk, which is why a reform announced on August 15th is delivered on September 3rd in flat 19 days. Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal, in fact, goes on to say that Rahul Gandhi doesn't have a grasp on economic matters and that his stalled talk is a result of his jealousy. Listen in. US President Donald Trump called the Indian economy a dead economy. Rahul Gandhi parroted the same lines that yes, Indian economy is a dead economy. Today, when these reforms have been set in motion, how would you look at the economy and how would you respond first domestically to your opposition audience and then internationally?
मुझे लगता है कि राहुल गांधी जी के पास खुद की समझ और सोच थोड़ी कमी है। राहुल गांधी जी ने समय समय पे हमारे ऊपर अलग अलग आरोप लगाए हैं। उनको ये ख्याल में नहीं है कि जो इकोनॉमी उन्होंने हमारे लिए छोड़ी थी वो 4.3 या 4% पे ग्रो कर रही थी। आज हम विश्व की सबसे तेज गति से आगे बढ़ रहे हैं। उनको ध्यान में नहीं है कि उनके समय बैंकों की एकदम कमजोर हालत थी, देश के पास विदेशी मुद्रा फॉरेन एक्सचेंज की कमी थी। वो शायद भूल रहे हैं कि उनके समय एक के बाद एक रोज कोई ना कोई बड़ा स्कैंडल, कभी कोयले में घोटाला, कभी टेलीकॉम में घोटाला, कभी अंतरिक्ष में घोटाला। उन्होंने कोई मौका नहीं छोड़ा भ्रष्टाचार और घोटाला करने का। जिस प्रकार से एक के बाद एक क्षेत्र पकड़कर प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी ने देश को मजबूत बनाया है, मैं समझता हूं वो राहुल गांधी जी के समझ के भी बाहर है और शायद उनको ईर्ष्या भी होती होगी।
You think he is jealous?
100%। इस टाइप की पॉपुलैरिटी प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी के जो है देश और दुनिया में, उससे स्वाभाविक है कि राहुल गांधी जी को तो बहुत परेशानी होती होगी, क्योंकि उनको तो लगता था कि उनके परिवार का ही हक है हर एक चीज पे। उनके मन में तो एक सेंस ऑफ एंटाइटलमेंट घुसी हुई है।
At this point, ladies and gentlemen, I'm taking the liberty of quoting Indira Gandhi. She had once very famously said, there are two kinds of people, those who do the work and those who take the credit. Try to be in the first group, there is much less competition there. It is interesting that the BJP today is reflecting that sentiment back at Rahul Gandhi as a full-fledged credit war breaks out over GST reforms. GST is finally a good and simple tax, only if politics could be as sensible. Anyhow, the Prime Minister today stepped out to show the Congress a mirror on taxes during their regime. Take a listen.
कांग्रेस की सरकार ने कैसे आपका मंथली बजट बढ़ाया हुआ था, ये कोई भूल नहीं सकता है। टूथपेस्ट, साबुन, हेयर ऑयल, इन पर 27% टैक्स। आज आपको याद नहीं होगा, लेकिन आप देते थे। खाने की प्लेट, कप प्लेट, चम्मच, ऐसे सामान पर 18 से लेकर के 28% टैक्स हुआ करता था। टूथ पाउडर 17% टैक्स, यानी रोजमर्रा की ऐसी हर चीज पर उस कांग्रेस के जमाने में इतना सारा टैक्स लगता था। हालत ये थी कि कांग्रेस वाले बच्चों की टॉफी पर भी 21% टैक्स लेते थे। ये कभी उस समय अखबार में आपका ध्यान गया होगा कि नहीं, वो पता नहीं। मोदी ने किया होता तो बाल नोट लेते।
Let me introduce my guest this evening. The Prime Minister has just spoken there. Sanju Verma, National Spokesperson of the BJP, joining us on the broadcast. Advocate Mahima Singh is spokesperson of the Congress Party, joining us on the broadcast. And Shubhankar Bhattacharya is a political analyst, joining us. Will be speaking on behalf of the TMC, but he is going to say he's not speaking on behalf of the TMC. He is speaking on his own behalf. I know what you're going to say, Shubhankar. I'll come to you in just a bit. Let me start with the ladies first. Mahima ji, you have just heard the Prime Minister. He's saying you can criticize me as much as I want. People in this country, especially the middle class in this country, is happy with taxes going down. All of us are happy, right, with GST, the GST coming down on most items that we use every day. Now, my point is, if all of us are happy that we'll have to pay less taxes on things like toothbrush, toothpaste, basic food items, etc., why should the Congress be negative and why should the Congress say कि भाई ये तो हमारी वजह से हुआ है?
Jai Hind. First of all, Shreya, this revision of the Gabbar Singh tax was in order, was long overdue. Finally, it has happened. And this GST 1.5, we had been awaiting and urging for GST 2.0. And finally, this GST 1.5 that has come, that the BJP is trying to project as a Diwali gift. Let me begin by saying it's not a Diwali gift. It is penance. Overdue penance by the BJP. Why? Because it is too little too late. Shreya, 9 years since we have been urging for it. We brought the concept of the GST. We brought it in 2005 first. If we would have implemented it, it was brought in as a reform to simplify taxes. You know, to practically mean one tax, to practically ease out the things for the common people and the MSMEs. But look at the BJP. On one end, it celebrates the collection of taxes, income tax collection gone up by 240%. Does the BJP address the fact that 64% of GST tax collection came from the poorer sections of the society? Number one. So good, you know, good that they are on the path of penance, but too little too late. And let me just remind Shreya ji here that for the first time in the Indian history, farmers were taxed. At least 36 items that were used by farmers were taxed. And Mr. Modi is talking about children's items. Let me remind, milk, curd, flour, grains, children's pencils with which they read and write. Those were taxed. Hospital expenses had gone up because of these taxes. Oxygen was taxed. Insurance was taxed. This is the Modi regime. So this is penance and there must be more of it.
We'll let Sanju respond to two things. First of all, Sanju respond to Rahul Gandhi taking credit and the Congress saying it all Rahul ki wajah se hua. He's been the one pressurizing the government. And number two, the Congress allegation that this is not actually a gift. This is a penance. For the last 8 years, you have been torturing people of this country with taxes. Ab bharpai ka samay hai.
First let me correct the Congress spokesperson. Debate par bina padhe likhe jab koi aata hai to yahi hota hai. It was Atal Bihari Vajpayee who in 2003-04, before demitting office, appointed the Vijay Kelkar committee. And in 2004, the Kelkar committee recommended GST. The Congress had time for 10 long years from 2004 to 2014. They did not implement the Kelkar committee recommendations. Who implemented the Kelkar committee recommendations? On the 1st of July 2017, it was the BJP government under the leadership of none other than Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Point number one. Point number two, I always say, it's great to build flaky castles in the air. But finally, you're only as good as what you are able to deliver on the ground, Shreya. The true test of leadership is not कि आपने कितनी हवाबाजी की, पर आपने जमीनी स्तर पर उतरकर जो आपका ग्रैंड विजन था, क्या आपने उसको एग्जीक्यूट किया या नहीं? I say what sets Narendra Modi apart are two things. Grand vision for sure, but more importantly, the ability to translate grand vision into seamless execution. And I'll just very quickly say one thing for the benefit of your audience. The Congress party has been saying, "Arey, kuch kiya nahi middle class ke liye." Let me tell you, under the Congress, the 10% income tax slab kicked in at an annual income of just rupees 2 lakh per annum. And currently, the 10% slab kicks in for an annual income of more than 8 lakh rupees per annum. And under the Congress, the 20% slab kicked in at just an annual income of rupees 5 lakh per annum. Today, the 20% tax, Shreya, kicks in at an annual income of more than 16 lakh per annum. But last but not the least, the 30% tax rate kicked in at an annual income of rupees 10 lakh per annum under the Congress. Today, that kicks in at an annual income of more than 24 lakh per annum. So across slabs, be it direct tax rate, income tax rate or GST, Modi ji ne wo kar dikhaya jo Congress sirf hawa mein bolti rahi par karne ki himakat nahi dikha pai. Rahul Gandhi used to call GST, even today he calls it Gabbar Singh tax. और अब ये क्रेडिट जीवी बनना चाहते हैं, थोड़ी शर्म करो भाई साहब.
No, the fact is that everyone, not just Rahul Gandhi, Sanju Verma, almost everyone, even your biggest supporters, had a problem when there was a 28% tax on insurance premiums, on life premiums. Who does that? So there was, the middle class had a problem. It was not just Rahul Gandhi having a problem. All of us had a problem with it. The fact is, Rahul Gandhi has been speaking about GST and Gabbar Singh tax and asking for reforms. My point is, Mahima, why try and walk away with the credit? Look, okay, even if for a moment, I agree to your point that Rahul Gandhi is the one that for the last 8 years has been pressurizing the BJP government and Narendra Modi into making these reforms. Wo reform ho gaya na? All of us are happy with it. So why can't you just for once pat the back of the government and say, chalo, acha kaam kiya? Instead of being sulky and sarcastic and saying this is not GST 2.0, this is GST 1.5, वैसे भी the credit goes to Rahul Gandhi, and वैसे भी has it happened because growth is sluggish or because Trump is at your throat? Why can't for a change the opposition say, अच्छा हुआ, well done?
Yeah. Number one, as I said, too little, too late of this penance by the BJP to repay the Indian people, Indian taxpayers, on whose cost the Modi government, Modi government's dreams of power clinging thrive. Let me raise a very simple question. I told you earlier that 64% of tax collection come from the pockets of the poor of this country, whereas only 3% GST collection from the rich, Shreya, and there also corporate taxes were reduced by from 30 to 22%, in the last 5 years, income tax, I told you already, had gone up, the collection had gone up by 240%. You are saying, why shouldn't we take the credit? You remember last year, the BJP shamelessly borrowed from the Congress manifesto, although it has failed to implement that scheme also that it had borrowed for the youth of this country. But, they keep on borrowing. They can very much borrow, but then the one sulking away from the Indian consumer, Indian taxpayer is the Modi government. You've got to shift your perspective, Shreya, and look at it this way.
Mahima, so let me just shift your perspective and tell you that when decisions are taken, like, just getting down all GST slabs to 2 or reducing GST on certain items, etc., it's not just the central government that does it. It's also states, so it's an effort between the central government and the state government. The only two states that were standing, the last two states standing were Kerala and Karnataka. Karnataka, it seems, didn't want these GST reforms to go through because there would be a loss of revenue for the states. So they were the last two men standing. So if you're saying the reforms are good, yes, they are good, but let's just agree that one of your own state governments was against it, and I understand their concern.
1 minute. Let me remind you how the Karnataka chief minister and minister had to come down to Delhi and practically sit on a dharna because the center has a step towards the state. When it comes to GST reforms, it is a holistic view that needs to be taken into consideration. And by the way, Shreya, a lot of questions still remain unanswered.
We'll come to those questions. I know what questions you're talking about. Those are the ones that have been raised by P. Chidambaram. Shubhankar is sitting by, but Sanju Verma wants to say something. Sanju Verma, 1 minute mein bolo, then I'll go to Shubhankar, because the TMC has a take on the issue as well.
The Congress spokesperson was given 3 minutes by you, but I will not play the victim card. You know your show. You will do the moderation. I will in 1 minute just say this. Congress अपने आप को गरीबों का हिमायती बताती है, Shreya. Do you know something? The Modi government reduced excise on petrol and diesel by 5 and 10 rupees respectively in 2021, and then by 8 and 6 rupees in 2022. And some of the lowest value-added tax rates at a state level are in BJP-ruled states, but your audience needs to listen to this. The highest VAT on petrol and diesel in Karnataka at 39.7%. The highest VAT on petrol and diesel in Telangana, again at 38.9%. Congress's alliance partner in Tamil Nadu applies VAT at the rate of 39.4%. और यहाँ बैठकर लोगों को चूस लेती है जो कांग्रेस फ्यूल टैक्स के द्वारा इन तेलंगाना, कर्नाटका एंड हिमाचल प्रदेश. उनके प्रवक्ता यहाँ पर आकर कहते हैं, मोदी सरकार ने किसानों के लिए कुछ नहीं किया. पीएम किसान के तहत 3.89 लाख करोड़ has been disbursed to more than 11 crore farmers. पढ़ा लिखा करो डिबेट पर आने से पहले.
ठीक है. Okay, no, Sanju, don't get personal. Shubhankar, would you want to come in here? The fact is, it's not just the Congress party and Rahul Gandhi that are taking credit. Mahima, I'll come to you. Let's just get Shubhankar in as well. He has not spoken at all. It's already 7:20. Shubhankar, just come in here. Please help me understand why the TMC thinks that this tone-deaf government, quote unquote, was pressurized by Mamata Didi into getting in these tax reforms. You think the Prime Minister listens to Mamata? Actually, if that is the case, you should be saying a thank you.
Well, first of all, let me begin with that whether it is too late, too little, or whether it is penance. But I'll begin with supporting the fact is that it is going to help the poor man's pocket. So whatever it is, but yes, it's a very welcome move. And it's a good move. I completely agree with you. Having said that, the things are, let us talk practically. Number one, that how is it you think that it will really meet the challenges that Trump has thrown towards us, which we have already, we are countering a huge, I think, the economic downfall that we are looking forward to. In case, we lose, say, somewhere around among 126 $billion if we even lose, say, $50 billion business from US. So is that going to prevent, the companies throwing out the people? I don't think so. So already unemployment is a challenge. Now, when you say that these economic reforms are aimed towards, giving the consumerism a rise, so is it really going to help people? Is this going to already helped people pocket some money. There are unemployed people where I think the buying power is already a challenge. So anyways, it's so the too little thing can be taken at that side. So yes, the reforms could have come at a better time, and we could have done something more about it. If it could help MSME to grow, I don't see much of the growth in that fact. And it is also to be shared that whether we see that the kind of leverage which has been given, it is enjoyed by the companies, or it is actually going to share. It's going to.
You have not answered my question,
of the common people.
You have not answered my question. I asked you a straight question where Mamata Banerjee is taking credit, and if she is taking credit for her wish being fulfilled, why create a fuss about it and say this is a tone-deaf government?
Yes.
Shreya, he's given wrong.
Totally. I'm getting to that point as well. Now the thing is that the TMC, with TMC, or I should say that opposition has been united, in fact, demanding this kind of reform to come. Since, Rahul Gandhi might claim it, the opposition always stood united in that the tax system, ever since the GST was introduced, the opposition continuously pressurized that it should have been made simpler. And of course, the kind of the two-digit slab that we are having today, that was the move which actually opposition was fighting strongly against. Now let me ask Sanju Verma a very typical question. The very first thing is that if you had such kind of reforms from the very beginning, why didn't you do it when the economy was almost very much, towards your own side?
Sanju Verma, the question that the opposition has been asking is, why so late? The reforms were problematic from day one, 8 years ago. Everyone said the reforms, the GST is problematic. Why did you wait for 8 years to bring these reforms? Now, let me read P. Chidambaram's tweet before you answer. He says it will be interesting to speculate on what drove the government to make the changes. Sluggish growth, rising household debt, falling household savings, elections in Bihar, Mr. Trump and his tariffs, or all of the above. Essentially to say ye middle class ke liye hamdardi aur pyar jo aap bol rahe hain wo nahi hai. There are other reasons why GST slabs have been lowered.
Shreya, I don't care मेरे सामने यदि 20 पैनलिस्ट हो, आज तो खैर सिर्फ 2 हैं, but I need my time. पहली बात तो मैंने मिस्टर पी चिदम्बरम की ट्वीट का जवाब उनको कोट करके दे दिया है, but let me tell Mr. Chidambaram, when you were the finance minister, you pushed India into the fragile 5, and today India is the world's 4th largest economy. It has the world's 4th largest forex reserves. It is the world's 5th largest stock market in terms of market capitalization. It is the world's 7th largest gold reserve.
Mr. Chidambaram didn't withdraw from the Reserve Bank of India reserve.
You did not allow me to interject. This is unfair.
Shubhankar, let her finish
speaking. This is not fair. No, you have to mute him because you did not allow me to heckle in fair. You have to be fair.
No, Shubhankar. Shubhankar is from Lucknow. He cannot heckle anyone. Shubhankar ho gaya. Don't heckle her.
Thank you. Now let me come to the moot point. Let's not get, diverted. The moot point is this. The GST reforms, GST 2.0 by the Modi government. Your audience needs to listen to this. It will lower inflation even further. Halaki inflation is already down to 1.55%. It will lead to ease of doing business. It will lead to ease of living. It will lead to better compliances. It will boost consumption. And my final point, Jairam Ramesh says GST matlab growth suppressing tax. I have told Mr. Ramesh you need to visit a shrink. Last quarter our GDP growth was how much? 7.8%, Mr. Jairam Ramesh. 7.8%. So please do not try to undermine India's credibility simply because your party has lost 3 Lok Sabha elections in a row.
Okay, we'll leave it there. Sanju ho gaya. We'll leave it there. You've had the last word on the show today. Sanju Verma, thank you very much. Advocate Mahima Singh, thank you. And Shubhankar Bhattacharya, thank you very much as well. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, a break. There's more on the other side. Do stay with us.